Countyfairgrounds in Cool K here. Do I have the one, the original, the only Brady Goss on the line with me?
You do. I'm getting ready to work a night shift.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Well, that's part of the job.
Hi, Brady. So how long have you been a performer and a pianist and a singer?
Oh, we're getting up near 20 years, which is crazy to think about.
Okay. So have you ever done anything else for a living? I'm curious.
Well, early on, I did. My stepdad had a ranch, and that was the Schaefer family ranch. So I worked out there. Started there when I was probably 9 years old or something, and worked on that ranch and got paid, I don't know, $5 an hour for a while, and then we got bumped to $6 an hour. And then I liked that so much, but then I got hired by a ranch up in Enterprise, Oregon, which was just 10 minutes up the road, and it was a cattle ranch, and I worked there all through high school, and even after high school, I enjoyed that work, so I would go back and work for him, after doing tours and stuff like that. I had any spare moments, that's where I was.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Not everybody just comes out of high school and goes into playing the piano for music and singing. How did that happen?
Do they do that?
I don't know.
Be out there doing it. It's kind of a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, well, I've interviewed a lot of people, and I'm always very interested in to hear how they got started. Some people, I just interviewed this is a different line, but I just interviewed a juggler, comedian who started juggling when he was 9 years old and never did anything else. And he went he went back east to some big shows and started doing shows, and he showed his mother, and his mother was having a fit, but he kept doing it. So eventually he took her on a cruise, okay?
Yeah.
So how did you get started? You can't have just, how did it happen?
Well, like I said, the town I grew up in was very small, so it was 800 people in Eastern Oregon. And there was a piano in the house, and there was always a piano in the house. And my dad, he played written music, so he took piano lessons as a kid, and so then I would gravitate, whenever he was playing when I was young, and watch his hands, and then he'd put me on his lap, and I'd watch his hands. And he went to work one day and came back, and I had worked out something because I kind of understood the concept of music on the piano keys. I could remember where the sounds came from and hear them in great detail. And then I started working out tunes, and my dad was really into Jerry Lee Lewis music. Mm-hmm. So I learned everything in the Jerry Lee Lewis catalog, all the from the hits to the underground stuff that only my dad would listen to. And that was pretty much just to impress Dad, and then he started putting me out in front of people, and then I had to get better if I was going to perform. And then I had to start singing, so I started singing at about 15 years old was the first I ever sang.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool. So what was your first paid performance? Do you remember?
Paid performance. Let's see. I was probably this is all within Wallowa County, Oregon.
Okay, and that's cool.
Yeah, until I don't remember what age I finally got out of there, but I was played like an antique shop. It's called Simply Sandy's, and I didn't sing then. And it was just I put the piano out there and just played music while people walked in and did their shopping. And it was, I think I got $75 or something for that.
Hey, that's money, dear.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So when did you start singing, and how did that happen? And do you remember your first singing performance?
Yeah, I do very much. I would get caught once in a while singing by myself, but I knew I could sing, but I was very shy about it mostly because my dad would put so much pressure on me to sing. He said, if you ever want to do this for a living, you're going to have to start singing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I was shy, when somebody puts pressure on, I tend to do the opposite of what they want me to do. So I
Oh,
clammed
okay.
up for a while.
Okay.
And uh eventually I said, Dad, okay, I'm ready. Let's go to the recording studio and record some stuff. So we recorded an album called The Singing Sessions. I was probably 15. And then soon after that, I had a show on the gazebo stage in Enterprise, Oregon. And everybody was there to, watch my show. And that was the one where I was going to start singing. And sure enough, I did. Talk about
So
being nervous, though.
Are you married, Brady?
Um, Basically, we just have yet to pull the trigger.
What does she think of this?
Well, she knew what she was getting into. I was very clear about what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And she's a nurse, so her hours are pretty sporadic too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, what's the biggest show that you've ever done, do you think?
You got to think about that. Probably the most exciting show, like the first time I was in front of 5,000, 10,000 people or whatever it was. At a certain point, it doesn't matter how many people; it just all looks like too many faces. And it was opening for Jake Owen at the Yamhill County Fair in McMinnville,
Mhm.
Oregon. And Jake
Okay.
Owen he was kind of the up and comer out of Nashville. I mean, there's a bunch of
Right.
them, but he was one of them back in 2009. And I went out there and did a solo show in front of all those people and hyped the crowd. And it went really well. And then I was backstage, and he came back uh, after his show, and of course he's going to go back and do an encore. And he said, "Hey, do you know any Alabama songs?" And I said, "Well, if you're asking me to come up and play, then yes, I do." So I went up there and played. I can't remember the song, but it was an Alabama song, and took a couple piano solos, and the crowd was going nuts. And then after that, we piled off the stage and set up a little Bose Tower backstage and played music with all the guys, all the Nashville guys, till about 4 a.m. till they shut us down. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. So, do you do your own booking?
I pretty much am my own agent there for the most part, but I work with other agents as well, just nothing exclusive.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this question: where would you like to perform that you haven't had the opportunity?
Um, well, I have a Allman Brothers tribute band called the Revival Brothers, and we're putting that together to do some national act stuff. So instead of playing, the free stages as a solo act at these fairgrounds, I'm trying to push that to be a headliner show while we can, while Allman Brothers music is still relevant and people will still come out to hear it because they do. And so there's some of those bigger stages that I'd like to play. Probably the other circuit that I'd like to get into is like the City Winery circuit, which is high class rooms with, I don't know, 300 to 500 people in them, and they're kind of dinner seating, and you play your original songs and put on a show.
Mhm. Okay, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So, how many members of the band are there?
In that band, there's 7.
Okay. All right.
Which is a lot.
So, you don't really do anything else though, but you rely just on the music for a living then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've carved out uh, several niches that work for me as a solo primarily, and then I have a four-piece band that I play with, and then that the Allman Brothers tribute band, and that's about all I can handle right now. So busy.
Have you been overseas?
I've never played overseas.
Do you want to?
I think Europe would be pretty accepting to the styles of music that I play, and there's lots of places out there that I see some of my friends go over there and they have just a great time. So it seems like a lot of work, and you got to plan accordingly, but it might be worth doing just to say that I did.
Oh, I think you'd love it. I've interviewed a lot of entertainers that got started. Basically, a lot of them pretty much out of high school, the way that you kind of like more or less are describing it in different fields. And a lot of them went overseas, okay, and they've had a great time. So I think you probably would have a great time too, and I think you would love it. And you've got a great sounding voice. So what are the voice? Do you have a voice teacher?
Let's see. I mostly imitated Jerry Lee Lewis in the early days.
Okay.
Because that was about the only thing I would listen to. And he happens to be a really great singer, like one of the best singers ever, in my opinion. Maybe you don't appreciate his voice like you would Elvis's, but he can out-sing just about anybody. And so I kind of developed my voice around that, at least the range part of it.
Okay.
And then I started singing a lot of Eagles music because I got into them. And that was very helpful. And then I found a guy named Martin Sexton out of Syracuse, New York, who's the best vocalist I've ever heard, and also a guitar player. He's a really great act. And I really started developing my voice by singing to him. But I had a couple voice lessons. I had a couple teachers in high school. Helene was the lady who helped me out. She was our music teacher as well for a little while, and a lady named Ellen White out of Portland. She's a blues singer. I took a couple lessons from her as well, and learned some mechanics and how to warm up. And now it's just I just sing every day. I try not to quit, because if you do, you kind of lose that craft.
So what does your father think of you now at this point?
No, he's probably my biggest supporter.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. You need support. That's good. So if you have kids, would you mind them going in your direction?
No, I would not. I think it's a really cool direction to go. I think I'd be very careful of what genres you pick to play. I got stuck in the kind of the older sounding music, and I can't get out of it. There's nothing that I would want to play that's coming out these days, except maybe that red dirt country that comes out of Texas. That I could get on board with. But I'm kind of a New Orleans guy. If I go see music, I go to New Orleans to see it, and it's all pretty old back there.
Hey, it's great music, darling.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me this now, and this is important. If people are interested in booking you, how do they reach you?
My website is a great way to get that started. It's bradygoss.com, so that's pretty easy to remember, if you can remember my name anyways. But yeah, bradygoss.com, there's some booking information on there, which sends you to an email, and we'll filter through that, and that's a good way to reach me.
Okay. Well, that sounds good, Mr. Brady. So where are you performing at now, or where are you going next?
Where am I going? So tonight I have a show in Green Valley, Arizona.
Okay.
And I had a couple shows in a row at one venue here that was I don't know, 400 or 500 people at those 2 shows. And the Green Valley will be a little smaller, but they're the kind of the RV resorts down here. So I get 3 or 4 of those in a stretch, and I try to come down and stay with friends and go play those shows, and they're a lot of fun to play.
Mhm. Sounds like it. Sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Brady, and so people could go to your website and look for you, and I take it you answer emails.
Yes, we do. We see it come in.
Okay. Thank you, Brady. I've enjoyed talking to you, and good luck. Thank you, Brady. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks for calling.